our goal is the thermostat, which is down there behind the power steering pump right here. Got the serpentine belt off. Use a 3/8 ratchet. Fit in the square hole here. And then you just move this and remove the belt, like so. And then you take the belt off and you get the power steering pulley maybe off there, and get back to that crazy thermostat back there. Okay, what I've done is take it out of 3 10mm bolts that hold the power steering pump on the bracket. 1, 2, and there's one below. You can get to them through the holes here using my air ratchet and a 10mm and a short extension. So got that off. I did have to tweak this pipe a little bit for the air conditioning to get it out, but I have a better shot now for the thermostat. So next step basically is maybe give some space and some room is to get that clamp off and remove that lower hose from the thermostat housing. Got a pretty cool special tool that does that. Get in there with a clamp or pliers. Get into pliers of some kind and get this clamp loose and get the hose off. It's going to be a pain in the butt. We get down there with a screwdriver or a pry bar and try and force that clamp back a little bit. I've got this hook tool. You can use that maybe. Try and get it clamped back. Also maybe dig inside the hose and free it up from the housing itself. That's really what it's for. So, see if we can get this clamp off. Slid back. So I had the best luck with my angled long needle nose pliers to get that off, and it's supposed to rest on that little nubby there and stay loose, but it's not doing that. But I got pulled back, so hopefully I can get the hose off now. Right now I am working my hook in the hose. It's really helping. So coolant's starting to come out. I do have a container underneath the car to catch the coolant. And there we go. It's coming off. Pull that baby up out of the way. At this point you may maybe want to try and replace that clamp, although I just don't know what other clamp's going to get in there any better, so maybe just leave this one. And when you put these spring clamps back on, you can see how the hose has been molded. Get the light there a little bit. You can see how the hose is kind of molded to the clamp. You can see the indentations. Try and always line up the indentations and the clamp so it sits right back where it was, because it can leak if they're not sitting in the same spot. I've seen it many times. Very annoying. So now we got some more access to the thermostat housing. And we need to unbolt this tube from the thermostat housing first. You kind of see one nut down there already, 10 millimeter. I think it's all going to be 10 millimeter. And then we'll have to be underneath the car. I think this is held on by a bracket at the starter, so we'll be underneath there looking for that as well. All right, you can see right there, I hope that there's I think a 13 millimeter, maybe 15 millimeter bolt there with a bracket that has the pipe on. Right there, that's the pipe. Goes up to that thermostat, so we're going to take that bolt out right there. It's at the starter, and we'll get some freedom to move this pipe around a little bit. So we did remove that bolt. It is a 15 millimeter. Now we'll have some free play with that bracket, because we got to take the two 10 millimeter bolts off of the thermostat housing to get this pipe out of the way to get to the thermostat. I did take the tire off too. For me it was 5 19 millimeter lug nuts. We have a kind of a view in here, and maybe a way to get some of those pieces off. Maybe, although I don't see the bolts for the lower pipe. Stupid thing. Okay, so what I did is loosened or took out 3 AC bolts. 15 millimeter there, 13 millimeter right there, and then also 13 millimeter up there. So just 3 bolts, and they're pretty dang long though. It's crazy. And now the AC can sit down. Maybe it can come even farther, maybe. But it's movable a little bit, and we have more space. My light got in the way up there, but there's definitely more space to work with now. Get that pipe out and thermostat housing. Alright, I like the space we got now. Also, I bent the bracket a little bit out of the way right here, so you still can't see all of them, but let me drop my camera down there so we can see. But there are 10 millimeter nuts down there. We have to get off the studs for that aluminum pipe. So we'll work on getting those off now. I use a 1/4 inch ratchet and a 10 millimeter deep socket. Here's my 10 millimeter and my ratchet. We'll try some combination of this to get those bolts out of there. So I think you see I got one stud off for one nut. Now I'm working on the other one down below. Really almost impossible to videotape, but it's down there and it's almost off. Pause this until I get that pipe free. So we got the pipe off there. You can see I think there's an O-ring on there. May need to think about replacing that O-ring if that's what it is. It does feel like it. Let's try and get a better shot down there then with it off. So we'll just keep going. We got our deep 10mm socket. We'll get those 3 bolts out for the thermostat housing. With the long extension, I think I can get all of them through this hole here in the wheel well. So we'll give that a shot. We'll have to pull down on the AC for that bottom one. Got the 3 bolts out, and looks like it's just gonna hopefully just come out. There it is. It's out. I hopefully have given you all the tips and tricks that I know of for this job. The information from the manufacturer was really crappy. So proper seal installation with the jiggle valve. See it right down there at the bottom. And let's check it out here. I think we have a match. So we'll just pop this out. Try and work this in a little bit with the screwdriver probably. Oh, there we go. There we go. It's worked in, it looks like. And we can now reinstall it. P2181 coolant performance issue. Apparently the computer wants to see the temperature in a certain range. If it doesn't, it'll turn the check engine light on. Most common problem for those, if the coolant is full, is a thermostat issue. And the thermostat, as we found out on this video, is not here. It's down there. Open up this screw. Poured coolant in here until coolant was coming out of here. Closed it. Just topped it off a little bit here. I got the cap on. Now we're running it. It's been running a little while. We don't have any heat in it yet, a little surprisingly. Might shut it off and let it set a little bit. Temperature gauge is not overheating though. We'll rev it up to about 2,500 RPM for a little while and get the coolant to circulate maybe. Get something to happen here. Otherwise, after like 5 or 10 minutes, if you don't get any warmth, then go ahead and shut it off and let it sit for a little bit. Maybe I'll try and open up that bleeder again. Maybe some air will come out. So I've squeezed this hose and it seems to be squeezable, so I'm just going to crack this a little bit and see what happens. Get some, oh, there's some air. So there we go, we got some air still in it. I'm a little surprised I'm not really seeing it go down like I thought it might over there in the jug. So we might just shut this off and re-bleed it maybe, or let it run here. Give it another minute. We'll be back with the results. Took the cap off a little bit and we'll see if maybe some atmospheric pressure will help a little bit maybe. Just getting spurts and such. There we go. Get some coolant out now and air bubbles. I'm trying to capture this coolant as much as I can. I don't want to get on the belt. The coolant on the belt will cause issues. So I might just have to add a little more coolant to the overflow jug. Let's try and get a fairly steady stream of coolant out of here instead of bubbles. Alright, so we did more bleeding here. Took the cap off and added more coolant because it was going down. Got a flow of coolant. Stopped it. Put the cap on, got inside the vehicle and revved up the engine a little bit, and we got some heat going. So that was good. Went for a test drive and we're back. We got good heat. We'll have to add some. It's looking a little bit on the low side, below the full mark. There's a line over here. So we'll let that cool off for a little bit and then we'll top it off and it'll be done. What a job for replacing your thermostat on your 2.7 liter V6 Dodge Magnum 2006